Assalamualaikum, hello there. You're now with me, Shira Abang Mansoor, for TVS Nightline. News making the headlines. North Korea is now rapidly preparing for war. Sarawak Authority cautions increased crocodile sightings. And over 70 Malaysians arrested internationally for involvement with illegal drugs. Here on TVS Nightline. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un urged his party to accelerate war preparations, including its nuclear program. The comments came just a week after Kim warned Pyongyang would not hesitate to launch a nuclear attack if provoked with nukes. Kim made the comments at the North's ongoing year-end party meetings, where he is expected to unveil key policy decisions for 2024.
Kim asked the party to further accelerate the war preparations across sectors, including nuclear weapons and civil defense, Pyongyang's official Korean Central News Agency reported. He also stressed that the military situation on the Korean peninsula had become extreme due to unprecedented anti-North confrontations with Washington. Seoul, Tokyo and Washington have ramped up defense cooperation in the face of a record-breaking series of weapons tests by Pyongyang this year and recently activated a system to share real-time data on North Korean missile launches. Earlier this month, a U.S. nuclear-powered submarine arrived in the South Korean port city of Busan, and Washington flew its long-range bombers in drills with Seoul and Tokyo. The North has previously described the participation of U.S. strategic assets, such as B-52 bombers, in joint drills on the Korean peninsula as the intentional nuclear war provocative moves of the U.S. Pyongyang this year successfully launched a reconnaissance satellite, enshrined its status as a nuclear power in its constitution, and test-fired the most advanced intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, in its arsenal.
With the current rainy season, Sarawak Forestry Corporation (SFC) has issued an advisory alerting the public of an anticipated surge of crocodile sightings and activities across the region. The Wildlife Agency said this phenomenon coincides with the reptiles' breeding season, which sees the creatures becoming more active and be in close proximity to residential areas, and it is expected to be observed until March next year. As such, SFC advised the public to be extra vigilant and take precautionary measures to ensure their safety.
In a Facebook post, SFC urged those living near bodies of water to secure their livestock away from water sources and to report of any crocodile sightings to the authorities immediately. Similarly, SFC cautioned that improper waste disposal into rivers would attract the reptiles closer to residential areas, thus increasing the potential threat to communities. It added that continuous rain also correlates to higher water levels, leading to increased crocodile sightings on land. Members of the public who encounter a crocodile are advised to contact the Sarawak Forestry Corporation hotline.
The grieving family of the late Nur Haslinda Abdullah, a 30-year-old factory worker who passed away on December 25th in South Korea, received significant relief when Minister of Women, Family and Community Development, Dato Sri Nancy Shukri, assured them of her commitment to spearhead the arrangements for repatriating the body. Nancy, who is also the Santubong Member of Parliament, is personally covering the repatriation costs, having provided an advance payment of approximately 31,000 ringgit to address hospital expenses in Seoul. Additionally, she is actively assisting in expediting the funeral arrangements. The deceased return to Malaysia is scheduled for January 4th.
Kalau di Kabumi di Korea memang kosnya agak rendah lah, dan kalau dimbak pulang kosnya agak tinggi. Tapi saya ucapkan banyak terima kasih kepada warga Malaysia yang turut menyumbang. Mula-mula tidak keluarga memang secukup duit tidak. Tapi apabila ada crowdfunding, ada lebih 60,000 dah. Jadi pagi tu baru tadi keluarga telah bersetuju supaya ditukar keputusan untuk membawa mayat balik ke Malaysia.
Previously, local media reported that the family of Nur Haslinda needed financial assistance to repatriate her remains. Having commenced employment in South Korea in September, Nur Haslinda underwent heart surgery a decade ago to address a congenital heart condition which involved a hole in her heart. In addition to this medical history, she also battled asthma.
Nur Haslinda's final wish was to return home, as revealed by her brother, Abdul Hafiz Abdullah. Abdul Hafiz received distressing news about his sister's critical condition from a friend who informed him of her hospitalization. Subsequently, the Malaysian embassy in South Korea confirmed the heartbreaking news of Nur Haslinda's passing.
Pada 25 bulan kami dapat tahu pun dari kedutaan yang call dengan kami, Madah adik kami yang dah meninggal lah. Sebelumnya ada berhubung dengan kami juga pada siangnya lah. Pada dirinya sakit, mendapat carikan tiket untuknya pulang. So kami cubalah nanggar tiket berapa. Tapi si juga sempat nak berhubung dengannya. Adanya petangnya kawannya Madahnya dah dimasukkan ke hospital dan agak kritikal lah masa ya. Jadi kami cuma Madah dengan kawan-kawannya dapatkan rawatan lah untuknya dulu. Dalam masa ya, kawannya telefon lagi, Madah mungkin akan dipindahkan ke hospital yang sikit lagi. Okey lah kami nunggulah, tunggu. Waktu ya baru sidak kedutaan call kami, Madah adik kami dapat diselamatkan lah, dah meninggal lah.
Sarawak's free tertiary education, which is expected to be implemented by 2026, will not lead to an increase in taxes or cuts in other areas of development. Sarawak Deputy Minister for Education, Innovation and Talent Development, Dr. Anwar Rapai, said a sound financial model that the state government has implemented over the years, which is evident in the consistent growth of revenue over the last few years, can sustain the policy.
Maksudnya apabila kita beri free education, kerajaan negeri Sarawak terpaksa increase the tax as well as increase the cut to other. No, we're not going to do that. Okay? That's why this policy is actually part of it. We know that the income will increase. You know, where we selalu ada income increase, kita quote lah. You know, from 6p to 12p. And it also will increase after 2030. Our GDP will also increase by that time.
He said this via a Zoom interview in response to the claims in social media that the Sarawak government will impose an increase in taxes and cuts of other development costs should free education be given to Sarawakian students. According to him, the efforts are part of the government initiatives to give back to the community.
By year 2030, our GDP will increase, our income will increase more, and it is the way back of the government to return this state income back to the people.
Sarawak Premier Datuk Petinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng on October 1st said the state natives would enjoy free education at state-owned universities and higher education in 2026. He said the annual projection of Sarawak's income, which had shown an increase since 2020, had given him the confidence to set the expectations by the state government.
Sarawak is positioned to become a preferred second home for Singapore residents through the Sarawak Malaysia My Second Home SMM2H program. Sarawak Trade and Tourism Office Singapore's TATO's Chief Executive Officer Chu Chang-Wan noted a positive response from Singaporeans expressing interest in applying for the program. Sarawak, with its various facilities and direct flights to Kuching, Miri and Cebu, is becoming an attractive relocation option for citizens of the neighbouring nation.
I would say a lot of positive engagement between Singapore and Sarawak now, which I wish all this trade investment, including Malaysia, my second home. There is also they're coming here to look into the potential of applying Sarawak, Malaysia, my second home in Sarawak. I think this is just 1 hour away, which I believe is so easy for them. to come over and stay here.
He told this during an interview with TVS at the Borneo Cultural Museum, BCM. At the same time, he assured that Statos will continue promoting Sarawak to Singapore as an ideal destination for various sectors, such as trade and investment, to attract more applicants to the program.
I think there are so many things that they are looking after for Sarawak, including agriculture, aquaculture, data center, as well as our food product manufacturing. I believe those are very in things that we should focus in the future.
He disclosed that Sarawak has recorded a 27% increase in tourist arrivals from Singapore from January to October compared to the same period before the COVID-19 pandemic.
Western Sarawak and Southern Peninsula are among areas forecasted to experience wind concentration from Saturday until January 4th, based on weather model analysis by the Malaysian Meteorological Department. According to the daily disaster report issued by the National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, this condition could lead to increased humidity, potentially resulting in continuous rain in those areas.
The report also states that in other states, thunderstorms with heavy rain and strong winds are likely to occur in the late afternoon until night. The report also said that Tenaga Nasional Berhad TNB has shut down the electricity supply in several substations to ensure users' safety. At present, 26 areas in Kelantan and 6 areas in Terengganu are without electricity due to this measure. However, there have been no disruptions at any temporary relief centres as the power supply is being facilitated from the grid system, 1 mobile generator set and 2 portable generator sets in Kelantan, as well as 2 portable generator sets in Terengganu.
The glow-in-the-dark road marking technology must be tested thoroughly before it is utilised. Though the technology is deemed groundbreaking, Deputy Minister for Infrastructure and Port Development, Dato' Aidil Lariwu, said it is important to test its performance, reliability and durability. Typically, the current road markings, he said, undergo retro-reflective bead tests to ensure performance duration.
Glow-in-the-dark road markings is still considered as a new entrant in the market, so several quality assurance tests need to be conducted before considering their use in Sarawak. At the same time, he clarified that Cerium has yet to have the right facilities to test the product, but they are currently being developed. Even after his statement regarding the technology, Aidil expressed its practicality in Sarawak, especially in areas without streetlights and dark environments. The glow-in-the-dark road markings uses fluorescent thermoplastic to provide illumination for a specific duration in the dark, whereas glass bit thermoplastic is currently used for road markings in the region. In Malaysia, the technology has been utilized in Padang Sanai, Padang Terap of Kedah, covering 3 kilometers and being categorized the longest glow-in-the-dark road markings in the country.
More news coming up right after the break, including Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim allocates 50 million ringgit for flood victims and 3 Hong Kong students arrested for terrorist activities. Only on TVS Nightline. Stay tuned. Welcome back. A total of 50 million ringgit was allocated for those who are affected by the recent waves of flood in Kelantan. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said each family would receive 1,000 ringgit, while additional monetary aid would be given after damages and losses were analysed by appointed officers. And for those who are evacuated to temporary evacuation centres, PPS, and other shelters, victims will directly receive assistance in advance via the National Disaster Management Agency NADMA Control Centre. He spoke at a press conference after visiting the Sekolah Menengah SMK Agama Lati in Kampung Banggul Manok, PPS, on Thursday. As of 3 p.m, the PPS houses a total of 700 flood victims from 218 families who resides in Gual Mesa, Taman Alia Putri, Berangan Ampan, Kepas, and Taman Kelapa Wangi. Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli has refuted claims that the development of the government's central database system, PADU, is a waste of public resources. He said PADU was fully developed by civil servants using existing allocations and infrastructure, and it doesn't only incur annual payments to private system providers. Rafizi said the system was also developed within 7 months.
The 3 agencies involved in PADU development include Ministry of Economy, the Department of Statistics Malaysia (DOSM), and the Malaysian Administrative Modernisation and Management Planning Unit (MAMPU) in collaboration with other agencies. He remarked the development of the system surpassed all projects implemented by private entities in the past in terms of its capability to be completed in a short period. According to him, PADU involves the development of the largest data system ever made by the public sector and possibly the largest in the country's history, as it involves details for each of the 32 million Malaysians. PADU will be launched on January 2nd, 2024 by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim. The system will be open for 3 months for Malaysian citizens to verify and update their socio-economic data. And Rafizi said data from PADU will be used to target subsidies for eligible groups in the future.
A total of 77 Malaysians were arrested abroad for various drug offences from 2021 to November this year. Bukit Aman Narcotics Crime Investigation Department NCID Director Datuk Seri Muhammad Kamaruddin Maddin said of that number, 32 were arrested for drug smuggling in 2021 and 17 were arrested for the same offence in 2022. Following that, 28 individuals were arrested at the entry points of various countries after they were influenced into becoming drug mules during the first 11 months of this year. He also added that the situation was very worrying and police called on all Malaysians to be vigilant and not be deceived by drug syndicates who are increasingly devious by dangling high rewards to find victims to smuggle drugs abroad. Police asked the public to contact the NCID hotline immediately if they have any questions or doubts regarding offers of free vacations or lucrative jobs abroad. Welcome back. 3 Hong Kong students were jailed Thursday for up to 6 years over their roles in a conspiracy to blow up government buildings, with one pleading guilty to terrorist activities under the national security law. The trio, now aged between 20 to 23, were the last defendants convicted in a series of prosecutions launched more than 2 years ago against the little-known group called Returning Valiant.
The mostly student-led group promoted independence from China and called for resistance after a national security law was imposed in 2020 to quell dissent following huge, sometimes violent pro-democracy protests that kicked off the year before. The group allegedly planned to devise bombs from explosive TATP in 2021 and set them off in public areas, including court buildings. Before they could construct the explosives, however, Hong Kong's National Security Police arrested them in July of that year. Ho Yu Wang, who was 17 upon arrest, was primarily responsible for making the explosives, according to prosecutors. Having been jailed over 2 years, Ho was sentenced to 6 years in prison for conspiracy to commit terrorist activities, with the court declaring him to be the ringleader of the group. Kwok Man Hei, who recently turned 21 in custody, and Chung Ho Yong, a 23-year-old university student brought into the case in April. Both pleaded guilty to conspiracy to cause explosions. Kwok was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison, while Chung received 6 years as he was the first to raise the idea of targeting government offices, court buildings, and police quarters.
China's embassy in Myanmar on Thursday has sought its citizens to leave a northern district along the country's shared border, citing heightened security risks as ethnic minority armed groups battle the junta. Clashes have raged since October across Myanmar's northern Shan state after the Arakan Army, the Myanmar National Democratic Alliance Army, and the Ta'ang National Liberation Army launched an offensive against the military.
当前缅甸果敢自治区的安全形势严峻复杂，我们提醒中国公民暂勿前往缅北地区，呼吁已在当地，特别是老街市区的中国公民尽快转移至安全地带或回国，做好安全防范。中方始终认为，维护停火和谈势头符合缅甸相关各方的利益，也有助于维护中缅的边境安宁。希望缅甸相关各方彼此保持最大克制，主动缓和现地局势，共同推动缅北局势软着陆，同时采取切实措施，确保中方在缅人员、机构和项目的安全。
Earlier this month, Beijing said it had mediated talks between the military and the allied ethnic armed groups and reached an agreement for a temporary ceasefire. But clashes have continued in parts of Shan State, with other member of the alliance, the Ta'ang National Liberation Army, claiming to have captured 2 more towns in recent days. The alliance has seized several towns and border hubs vital for trade with China in what analysts say is the biggest military challenge to the junta since it seized power in 2021. The MNDAA, a member of the Brotherhood Alliance, has vowed to recapture Laokai Town, located in a district bordering China that is run by a military-aligned militia and notorious for gambling, prostitution, and online scam syndicate.
Chinese consumer electronics giant Xiaomi unveiled its first electric car model on Thursday, with its boss declaring ambitions of becoming a global automotive powerhouse despite fierce competition at home. Beijing-based Xiaomi, which is the world's 4th largest smartphone manufacturer, is also a leading provider of tablets, smartwatches, headphones, and electric scooters.
The company announced in 2021 its intended foray into electric vehicles, joining a trend that has seen several major Chinese tech companies pivot towards the highly competitive sector. Xiaomi top brass Lei Jun took to the stage in Beijing on Thursday to unveil the SU7, a sedan that is scheduled to enter the market in 2025. The model is integrated with Xiaomi's software to enable functionality across the firm's range of devices and will be produced by local manufacturer BAIC. The SU7's batteries are to be supplied by China's largest electric automaker, BYD, as well as domestic battery giant CATL. Many top tech firms in China, the world's largest automotive market, have invested recently in the country's EV sector, where foreign firms have struggled to take hold. BYD was the undisputed leader of China's EV market in November, with more than 300,000 models sold, coming in far ahead of Tesla's more than 80,000, according to figures from the China Association of Automobile Manufacturers. Founded in 2010, Xiaomi has achieved rapid growth through its strategy of marketing high-end devices at affordable prices, which were initially sold directly through online channels.
See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates both locally and internationally. Up-to-the-minute headlines are now available across all of our social media platforms. And that is all the updates for TVS Nightline. I'm Shira Abang Mansur. Thank you for watching.